Good afternoon, everyone. What a beautiful day. I'm Mike Moyes, the Minister of Environment and Climate Change and MLA for Riel. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we're gathered here on Treaty 1 territory and the homeland of the Red River Métis. For generations, Indigenous young people on these lands learned by moving. They traveled, harvested, hunted, danced, competed, gathered, and learned on the land alongside their families and communities. That reminds us that movement is about more than exercise. It's about connection to our bodies, to one another, and to the land beneath our feet. As we talk today about helping the next generation grow up healthy in mind, body, and spirit, we honor the Indigenous nations of these lands and the knowledge that they've carried forward for generations. Every child deserves the chance to grow up happy and healthy. Today, as we update what Manitoba students learn in our schools, we do so mindful that education is about helping young people understand who they are, where they come from, and the responsibilities they carry to one another. For all of us who call Manitoba home, we share responsibility to ensure the next generation knows the history of these lands and is prepared to shape their future. Before I had the honor of being an MLA, I had the pleasure of being a teacher, and for over a decade, I was a physical education teacher right here at Victor Major School. Although I've got to say I'm a little bit jealous. We didn't have the track, we didn't have this basketball court we're standing on right now, so a little bit jealous of that. But I got to see firsthand the impact physical activity can have on the health of kids and young people. And that's why I'm so excited to be here with all of you today for this important step forward for the next generation. To officially begin this announcement, please join me in welcoming someone that is always emphasizing the importance of building a strong province, the Premier of Manitoba, Wab Kinew.
Thanks, Mike. All right, well, good afternoon, everybody. Very happy that all these young people could join us for what I hope is going to be one of the defining initiatives of our government and has the potential to make Manitoba a healthier place, not just for years, not just for decades, but for generations to come. Today we're announcing that we're launching a new health curriculum here in Manitoba. It's built on the idea of everybody, every day, meaning we want every child, every student in our province to be active. And it includes an important change, which is that from kindergarten right through grade 12, every single student in Manitoba will have to do gym class in person, no doctor's notes. All right, yes!
All right.
You guys are out of practice. I'm going to call an election just because of that, just to get you guys back into practice of the applause lines. Jeez, that was rough. Okay. When we talk about health in Manitoba, this is a category where, unfortunately, we've been the leader in too many negative areas. Areas like the prevalence of juvenile diabetes, even child mortality. But this curriculum is going to make Manitoba a leader across the country. We are going to have the highest standard for making sure the kids are active, and it's going to be complemented with teaching about nutrition, with teaching about the dangers and harms of screen time, with conversations about sleep. And by ensuring that young people are exposed to this, we're going to ensure that the future generations in Manitoba are going to be healthy, they're going to be happy, and yeah, hopefully they use their phones less than we do today. As I look at all the journalists on their phones. Sorry, guys, really put you guys on blast with that one there. But I know that parents want to see this happen. As a parent, I could tell you, like, the challenge of trying to parent in the age of YouTube, trying to ensure that kids participate and not just do the sports that they're signed up for, but, you know, find time each day to get outside and to move and to be healthy is super important. And I reflect on our time, when our generation was in school, like, I think we turned out all right. But growing up in the 80s, and yeah, shout out to all the 80s babies here, but we thought juice was healthy. No, it's not. And the juice that is healthy, most people would think it's gross, right? So we have to help young people because there's still too many kids in our society who don't know the dangers of sugary drinks. We have so much attention in the media and in our society about what's going on in the streets with addictions and homelessness, rightfully so, but Pepsi causes more damage to Manitoba than alcohol does. Coca-Cola causes more damage to Manitoba than meth does. And if you don't believe me, go spend time in any of our hospitals. Diabetes, kidney disease, you name it, all the chronic conditions. We still have kids in Manitoba who are growing up around smoking. Clearly, we have to do more as a society. The good news is the public schools that we have, the school system in general that we have, is one of the best ways that we can reach every child in this wonderful province. And the good news is also that we have a remarkable cohort of experts. We got the phys-ed teachers, not just Minister Moyes, but also Minister Simard. They're going to come back in the classroom. They're going to do chin-ups. They're going to be there doing the RFK. No, maybe that's too far. But on a serious level, we respect seriously the pedagogical, the practical expertise of all the phys-ed teachers across Manitoba, and we want to work with them. We want this curriculum to inspire gym teachers to challenge us as a province, to identify the resources, to identify what our schools need to look like in the future if we want to have a more active population, a more healthy population. We're so proud of the fact that we have a universal school food program in Manitoba. I want school leaders and teachers to challenge us and say, let's make it a universal healthy food program for schools across Manitoba. And to all the parents out there who may have been nervous about gym class when you were in high school, and to all the kids who are thinking about going back to school right now and aren't maybe super hyped to hear old Wobber talk about you're going to have to be in person in gym class every year of your education, what I would say this, we are going to change gym to work for you too. This is as much about the kid who thinks that working out is no joke as the kid who cracks a joke to try and skip a turn when they're called on. This is as much about somebody who back in our day maybe was picked last instead of just the kids who were picked first. And so we got to include everybody. And what does that mean? If there's a barrier to gym class, if a student doesn't want to get changed for gym class, then let's not make them get changed. Just let them participate as it is. If not every kid is going to be aiming for youth sports or the Special Olympics, well, let's make sure that they're just walking during that class time through the hallways in the school each and every day. And again, if you have a concern about an accommodation that your child needs, let's work together to make that happen while still finding a way for them to be physically active during their school day. If a young person has a mental health need, if a young person has sensory needs, if a young person has a mobility device that they use, these are all things that we can plan around when we work together. So when we think about the future of our society, it has to be inclusive of an education that fosters health and well-being and exercise amongst the next generation. We get a lot of questions each and every day about how we're going to reduce ER wait times here in Manitoba today and next week. But for once, we're doing an announcement about how we're going to reduce ER wait times 20 years from now. Miigwech, merci. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Premier Kinew. Education is critical for the health of our young people, and our next speaker plays a critical role in supporting students, educators, schools, and families right across our great province. Please join me in welcoming the Minister of Education and Early Childhood Learning, Tracy Schmidt.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on this beautiful day.
And thank you for that introduction, Minister Moyes. I want to begin by acknowledging our hosts here. So I'd like to thank Executive Director of the BGC Winnipeg, Noelle DePape, for coming yourself and for bringing all of your friends. And I also want to thank our hosts here at Victor Major School. So I'd like to thank our friends at Louis Riel School Division. We have the new superintendent of Louis Riel, Jackie Connell, and much of her team here with us today. Thank you so much, Jackie. And also I want to thank our Louis Riel School Division board. I saw our board chair, Sandy Nemeth. There, she's somewhere. Thank you, Sandy, for being here. And thank you for all of for your team and all the work that you do. So today we have a very, very exciting announcement to share with all of you. And it's really guided by the North Star of our government, which has been the safety and health of kids here in Manitoba. And school and our education sector partners play such an important role in this work. We started a school food program in every single school in Manitoba to make sure that all kids get the healthy food that they need to be able to learn. And now we are going even farther when it comes to the health of our kids with a new policy that will ensure that kids get in-class gym instruction from kindergarten all the way through grade 12. And rest assured that this change makes Manitoba the leader across Canada when it comes to physical education and health curriculum. So this is a great day for phys-ed teachers in Manitoba, and it's a great day for all kids in Manitoba. The habits that we teach our kids today, the narratives that we tell them around what it means to be healthy, are the foundations of what our province will look like 25 years from now, and that's what we just heard the Premier talk about. The message of this curriculum is that physical activity and healthy living are for everyone, for every single child. The curriculum helps kids find movement activities that make them happy and healthy, whether that be sports and weightlifting, whether that be yoga or walking, or many of the other creative solutions that we know that our phys-ed teachers are going to help our kids come up with. Students will learn about the health risks associated with sedentary behaviors. And as the Premier talked about, I'm a parent too. I see firsthand the challenges of what it's like with kids today and getting them out of these sedentary behaviors. It's about reducing their connections with screen time. We're going to have them explore a variety of movement so that everybody can learn and that we can explore physical activities relationship with our health, including the Premier mentioned getting a good night's sleep and the impact of physical activity on our mental health. This curriculum is also going to build on our universal nutrition program that will help kids explore nutritious options and how to eat healthy as they learn about health risks associated with sugary drinks, as the Premier mentioned, how to meal plan healthy meals, and how to make responsible food choices. So voluntary piloting of this new curriculum is going to begin just this fall in September, is going to continue through the 27-28 school year, and with the full rollout of this new curriculum in the 28 and 29 school year. Finally, I just want to quickly thank all of our incredible sector partners, the many, many passionate and dedicated physical education and health teachers from across Manitoba that have worked so hard and helped develop this curriculum, every single administrator and teacher across Manitoba that has contributed to this work. I'd also like to name the Canadian Centre for Child Protection for their important partnership, the Manitoba Advocate for Children and Youth, the Life Saving Society of Manitoba, the Heart and Stroke Foundation, to Dr. Roussin and his incredible team at Public Health, and also finally to our Premier for his incredible championing of this new curriculum. Thank you all for being here today in support of happy and healthy kids. Thank you very much. Merci, Miigwech. Alyson, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Minister Schmidt. Our next speaker brings an important perspective on the connection between education, health, and the well-being of Manitoba's children and young people. To share a few remarks, please welcome Dr. Brent Roussin.
Good afternoon. I'm very happy to be here this afternoon to really support this exciting step moving forward for families, for schools across Manitoba. As a parent, as a physician, as Manitoba's Chief Provincial Public Health Officer, I know how important it is for kids to build those healthy habits early in life. This new health and physical education curriculum is about helping every child move more, learn practical skills, and feel included, no matter what their age, their ability, their background, or where they live. This new curriculum teaches children from a young age that the healthy habits they form today around exercise and nutrition will help them prevent illness later on in life. From a public health perspective, this is an important update and one that can change health outcomes for our province. So this is really at the heart of this work. We know from the Health Status of Manitobans report, A Healthier Manitoba for All, that health is not only shaped in clinics and in hospitals. It's shaped at home, shaped in school, in workplace settings, in communities. And so that report reminds us that prevention is what matters, and that the choices and supports available to young people today will really influence their health in the future. So physical activity, nutrition, mental health, injury prevention, and confidence in daily living are all connected. When students have regular opportunities to move their bodies, to learn about healthy eating, talk openly about really challenging real life issues like social media, vaping, other aspects of safety, we're giving them the tools that they can carry into adulthood. I'm especially encouraged that this curriculum is focused on participation and inclusion. So gym class is a place where students feel supported. As health professionals, educators, families, and communities, we all have that role to play in helping young people be active in ways that are safe, positive, and realistic for them. So for the average Manitoba, this is a simple but powerful idea. When our kids are healthier, our entire province is healthier. And so this curriculum is an investment in prevention, and it's an investment in a healthier future for Manitoba. So I'm really excited to see this come forward. I'm really grateful to everyone involved, to the schools, to the teachers, to families, and to the students who are going to shape this over time. So thanks very much.
Thank you, Dr. Roussin, for your guidance to our entire province regarding public health. As we discuss changes and investments in education, it is important to hear from those who understand our school communities firsthand. And so please join me in welcoming the Superintendent of Rolling River School Division, Jason Klein.
Thank you very much. Yeah, my name is Jason Klein, the Superintendent of Rolling River School Division in Minnesota. Again, I'd like to thank the Premier, Minister Schmidt, for inviting me here today for this important announcement. I also really want to acknowledge the hard work over the last few years on the work of curriculum by the department, and again, the teachers that are participating and giving up their own time, often while teaching full time, to do that extra work, which is so important for now and for the future. Again, the physical and mental health of our students, along with their overall wellness, is so critical, especially at this time in our history. The renewed curriculum focus on students' confidence, competence, physical literacy, personal well-being, equip our young people to deal with the issues that are going on today and understanding for themselves in the future. In rural Manitoba, where I come from in Minnesota, in that area, we're so fortunate, and I know across Manitoba, to live in such a wonderful place that we can get outside. And so I was really happy in the new curriculum, to talk about that land-based learning and tied to Indigenous beliefs and living life in a good way, which to me is being outside as much as we can. Like today is so great to be here. Again, thank you to the teachers for their outstanding job and develop those lifelong skills, which again are outside so often in our division. We spend a lot of time with phys-ed in hiking, camping, mountain biking, cross-country skiing, downhill skiing, canoeing, land-based activities with elders that is so important for our kids to learn. And again, just to tie that to the last few years with the Elders and Knowledge Keepers programs in school, although we've always been doing a lot of those great things with our elders, to do that more frequently and have elders make connections with kids and staff to learn how to do things in a good way has been just so wonderful in the last few years. Helping to create a culturally sensitive and culturally understanding for our staff, students, and parents has been an also benefit of the Elders and Knowledge Keepers program. And again, like so many up here, as a former phys-ed teacher and principal, the tremendous impact that the school nutrition program has had on our students is is immeasurable, really. Not only does it provide nutrition every morning or lunch or snack or often take-home snacks for kids, for us, it's the connections between parents, volunteers, teachers, and everybody in the community to make this happen. And those funds that are now in school divisions have, from a former principal, allowed me not to go shopping Friday night to pick up 100 boxes of granola bars. And people might ask, why do you have 8 watermelons, Jason? And I will say, well, I like watermelon, but they're for my kids, not my kids at home. I only have one, but the kids at the school for Monday morning. So those things is really important. And finally, just to kind of close out from my end, we're excited to work with the new curriculum and learn from it, learn together. And I really want to thank the teachers, because really, I think it was mentioned earlier, I just want to echo, the experts are in the classroom. They're making their connections with kids, and all of this kind of, for me, brings together what we should be doing in school, which is creating a healthy group of kids and a healthy group of staff, and we'll see good things. So thank you very much for having me today.
Thank you so much, Superintendent, and to all school divisions for being such good partners in education. And on a personal note, thank you for supporting kids before our government brought in the Universal Nutrition Program. As was mentioned by a number of our speakers, teachers play such an important role in education, but specifically in the rollout of any new curriculum. And so to hear from a physical education expert, please welcome the co-president of Physical Education Educators of Manitoba, Alyson Gysel.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having us here today. As said, my name is Alyson Gysel. I'm the Divisional Support Teacher for phys-ed and Health in the Winnipeg School Division, and I'm also the co-president for Physical and Health Educators of Manitoba. Today is an exciting day for phys-ed and health across our province. On behalf of the teachers that we work with in Manitoba, we are incredibly pleased to celebrate the release of the renewed kindergarten to grade 12 curriculum. Physical and health education has always been more than what happens in the gymnasium. It's about giving young people the knowledge and skills and experiences they need to understand themselves, to care for their health and well-being, to build healthy relationships, find joy and confidence in movement, and inform the decisions that they make throughout their life. We know that today, students are facing challenges that continue to evolve. Mental health concerns, the consumption of social media, substance use, and sedentary lifestyles are just some of the realities that our young people are navigating. Schools have an important role to play in helping students understand these challenges. By addressing them directly through education, we can provide a strong foundation as they move beyond graduation. The renewed curriculum will provide a place to root these conversations that are already happening in our schools. As said before, Manitoba has been a long-standing leader in physical and health education. We are the only Canadian province or territory with comprehensive kindergarten to grade 12 physical and health education that's taught by specialists. Others across our province or across Canada look to Manitoba for guidance and leadership. Today, we're excited to see that leadership continue. The renewed curriculum will give teachers the tools and support to continue leading this essential work. It demonstrates the government's commitment to health and well-being of Manitoba's youth and children. And most importantly, it reflects the belief that education plays a central role in lifelong wellness. The Physical and Health Educators of Manitoba are incredibly proud to be part of this work, and we look forward to supporting educators through their professional learning as they begin to bring this curriculum to life in classrooms across Manitoba. Thank you again for having us.
Thank you, Alyson, and to all teachers for that incredible work that you do each and every day. Our last speaker, and definitely not least, brings a unique perspective to the table. I can attest to the good work that Boys and Girls Club do. I was able to see that as a teacher when I was here at Victor Major, and she has seen the importance of creating supportive environments where young people can learn, grow, and reach their full potential. So please join me in welcoming the President and CEO of Boys and Girls Club Winnipeg, Noelle DePape.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to keep this short because I can tell the Premier is ready to go play soccer with those kids over there. So, as the Minister mentioned, my name is Noelle DePape, and I'm the new CEO at BGC Winnipeg, also known as the Boys and Girls Club. And on the theme of healthy living, I'm also a basketball coach and a bike commuter because I think healthy living is very important. A quick shout out to Abe, who's the club manager at Victor Major, and his team over there, as well as Karen, the principal at Victor Major, and our board members who've come. We're so lucky to have an incredible team. At BGC, we see every day how important physical education is to a young person's confidence, well-being, and sense of belonging. In my new role at CEO, my first goal has actually been to visit our 11 clubs across the city and many of our CSI summer learning sites. I've brought my parachute in my backpack to play with the younger kids, and I've had my basketball shoes on to play pickup with the teens. At every club that I've been to, kids are off their phones, making new friends, playing games and sports, eating healthy meals, often thanks to the funding from the Department of Education, and trying new activities with positive adult mentors. We know that when young people have opportunities to move, play, and be active, they're not just improving their physical health, they're building friendships, learning teamwork, developing resilience, and gaining skills that support them throughout their lives. That's why we're so pleased to support the efforts that help make healthy living and physical activity a part of every child's experience every day. What excites us the most about this new curriculum is its focus on inclusion. Not every young person sees themselves as an athlete, but every young person deserves opportunities to move, participate, and discover activities they enjoy. Creating welcoming environments where all students feel supported and encouraged is so key to building those lifelong healthy habits. We also know that healthy outcomes for young people extend beyond physical activity alone. Teaching practical life skills, including nutrition and food literacy, helps young people make informed choices and develop greater independence as they grow. At BGC Winnipeg, with our sister club, BGC Thompson, we are proud to work alongside schools, families, communities, and governments to support the healthy development of children and youth all across the province. The investments we make in young people today help create stronger communities tomorrow. Programs like BGC embody the ideas and the intention of the province's updated curriculum. Together with schools and community centers and youth-serving agencies, there's so many great ones who are doing physical activity and healthy living across the city, across the province. We have the potential to encourage youth to make healthy choices that support their mental and physical well-being. We very much look forward to seeing the positive impact that this pilot will have on Manitoba students and to continue our work with partners to ensure young people have every opportunity to thrive. Because at BGC, we know that opportunity changes everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Noelle, and thank you to all the speakers for sharing your perspectives, and thank you to Minister Simard for being here. As was mentioned, a former phys-ed teacher himself, a long time, as well as the MLA for Lagimodiere, Tyler Blaschko, another educator on our team. Just as we're about to embark on the start of another school year, I just want to really give a shout out to everyone that's involved in the education system, from the educators, the teachers, the school staff, right down to the families and community members that contribute to everything that goes into our schools and our education system that allow our young people to learn and grow. So thank you very much, and wishing all of you the best of luck as we kick off another school year. So that concludes the formal portion of today's announcement, and I open the floor up to members of the media for questions.
Yeah, our curriculum will be up online for everyone to view at the beginning of the school year. Sorry. Yeah, this is the way we roll all new curriculum here in Manitoba, is first on the first years on a voluntary basis. So it's like that, we asked for volunteers. So we've been in touch with our school division partners across the province, and happy to report that we have many, many schools that have put up their hand and are really excited to pilot this really exciting announcement we have here today.
So the Premier mentioned this will be for all students, K to 12, in person, in gym class, and doctor's notes. How does this change with the second for grade 11 and 12 specifically? What changes here?
Well, right now, I think a lot of kids are just filling out the form and not doing the physical activity. So we just want to make sure that young people growing up in Manitoba understand how important it is to be active every single day. And we see with social media and AI and everything that there's going to be that much more of a social pressure to be sedentary. So we have a society, we as a society have to encourage people to be active, especially our kids, right? So they're definitely growing up in a lot different environment than we grew up with. But the fact that everybody needs to get exercise to feel good, to be healthy for the long term, to socialize and engage in different ways is as true today as it ever has been. And so this is going to be about fostering that. Yeah, we want you to, like I said, if you're going to be participating in school, we want you to be active at school. So for some kids, maybe we have to make gym more flexible and more attractive, but you still need to do it in person. And maybe, you know what? Maybe the AAA hockey kid who doesn't want to be tired for the game later is going to do the walking in the hallway thing too. I don't know. We'll work on that stuff together. But the point is, we have a unique ability to make a difference in our society when people show up at school. And when you look at what's happening in our healthcare system, you look at what's happening in our society writ large, we know that we need to make a big effort around health. And so, yeah, you can't Zoom class a walk. You can't Zoom class a workout. I mean, I know people can say, oh, yeah, I do Zoom yoga all the time. But you know what I mean? Like, you can't substitute physical activity with a digital approach or a remote approach.
100% in person for grade 11 and 12.
That's what I'm telling you. That's why I'm saying challenge us as a government. If we have to reimagine school, like, here's something probably a bunch of people agree with. Does every kid succeed in the class with the tables and chairs? No. I've got a kid who, you know, you put him in that environment, he's gonna be bouncing off the walls. You bring him outside, he's a leader. So do we have to reimagine our schools a little bit? I think so. I think everybody would agree with the fact that schools can adapt and evolve to accommodate all the students and youth in our society. So I think today is us saying, here are some of the priorities. Now let's have that constructive back and forth with school leaders and officials and everybody and figure out where does our education system have to go to become that vision that we want it to meet the needs of all kids. Because we all say that every September 30th, every child matters.
That's right.
Well, let's make that true. Let's make it true for the kid who's nervous about going into the change room. Let's make that true for the child who's not going to join any organized sports, whether that's personal choice or economic reality. Let's make it true for, you know, the kid that I said, like, that a lot of us can relate to. Maybe that was me at one point, bouncing off the walls, getting in trouble, you know? Don't get in trouble, kids, by the way. But I don't know. The school system needs to adapt. There's amazing experts within the school system today, and we're trying to say as a government, we see that, and we're trying to engage with you, also with health experts, to come up with something really that meets the needs of our children in Manitoba. Bien, cette politique qu'on partage aujourd'hui, c'est dirigée vers la réalité que tout le monde doit avoir une vie active. Et puis, nous supporterons les enseignantes et puis ceux qui travaillent dans nos écoles pour livrer une éducation qui inclut des activités sportives, des autres activités, des connaissances au sujet de la nourriture et puis les autres faits de notre santé. Et puis, à chaque 30 septembre, nous disons chaque enfant compte. Mais maintenant, on regarde dans le système et on dit, OK, laisse travailler ensemble. On pourrait travailler ensemble avec les enseignantes et puis ceux qui dirigent nos écoles pour créer un système d'éducation où chaque enfant a l'opportunité de choisir une vie de bonne santé pour eux-mêmes. Well, we got the expert right here. I don't know if we want to hear, but like I just think flexibility is the name of the game. So we have some folks who might be nervous, some folks might have anxiety, other folks might have other hang-ups to do with bullying and body shaming. No bullying, no body shaming. And by the way, we're going to talk about that in the health curriculum so you can understand how damaging that can be in the long term. And maybe it was back in the 80s, again, the heyday, in my opinion, that like everyone had to change into gym clothes and that was part of it. And it was like a disciplinary approach. No. What's more important? A kid wearing a matching outfit or a kid learning to be active? I think we all agree that it's the kid learning to be active. So let's just work together. There's tons of pedagogical and practical expertise. We're bringing forward maybe like a public health angle as well, guided by the advice of Dr. Roussin. So let's just figure out a way to encourage young people to be healthier. Yes, we're going to make sure that there's high standards. You're going to have the kids doing chin-ups and CrossFit and, you know, eating right 24/7. But we also, if we want to see the best results for health in Manitoba, we got to make sure that it's very inclusive and welcoming and encouraging for the students who are maybe not the natural joiners for that sort of activity. And we gotta do the hand holding and the encouragement and whatever barriers are there. Let's work together to take them down. And maybe it's with parents too. Maybe we have to do a little hand holding with parents so that they understand we have the best interests of your child at heart, and we want to work together so that your child, your most important guiding star in your lives, is going to be healthy for many, many years to come. So, do you want to jump in on some of your thoughts there? Or?
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
I think the philosophical root of physical and health education is about joy and movement and understanding how to navigate health throughout a lifetime. So if we make spaces inclusive, if we make them accessible for all, if we do things that help kids find that joy, they're going to continue it once they graduate. So as often as we can do that in the ways the Premier said, making our classroom spaces that kids want to be in, and when they're there, they then have the experts in front of them that help them find that joy. I really think that's the key thing that we need to do. And in this curriculum, it really does create opportunities to access different types of activities. When we look at all curriculum, there's never necessarily a thing that it says you should do. So sport is a great example or a tool for physical and health education, but it's not the tool that meets every outcome or works for every kid. So if we can find other activities that are based in daily living, we're going to meet the needs of all students, and which means then we meet the needs of all Manitobans later in their life. Yeah, assessment is something that's part of the new curriculum, so we'll look at that further in the next couple of years as we explore it. But I would say that physical and health educators across the province are already assessing in a number of different ways. Just as you would see in a traditional sit-down classroom, our active health classrooms have multitudes of assessments built in, and excited to see what that looks like with the change to the 11 and 12. So across the province, you have an option in schools. The school determines what makes sense for their building. There's options from 25% in, which is the health component, all the way to 100% in. So you'd see differences across all Manitoba schools, even within a division, even within an individual school. And so that would be different. I don't know the answer to that question.
We should work with the pedagogical experts who are the teachers in the classroom as well as the school leaders to sort that out. I mean, for me, if somebody who at the start of the year did not want to participate and all of a sudden is walking a few thousand steps a day more, to me, that's what we should be given the credit for, you know? Or, you know, you had somebody who's already active and maybe they just put more of a a systematic approach to their understanding of how to plan their exercise and nutrition. Again, that's what we want. So, I think it's up to the educational experts and our minister to sort that out. But again, the idea is a rising tide lifts all boats when it comes to public health. And so long as we see the tide rising, we should be encouraging students to keep moving through the grades and keep progressing with their knowledge and activity.
What will the changes look like in practice when it comes to more welcoming environments, change room rules, that sort of thing? Can you just tell us what they might notice in schools, the students might notice when it comes to changes now?
Yeah, for sure. We're still navigating what the new curriculum will look like, and we're excited to work with our school partners who have chosen to pilot. We have a number of schools who have chosen to take that on for the school year, and so we're going to work together to figure out what our options look like and how we can make our classes more accessible for all.
I can advise that as of 5 minutes before this press conference started, we have 25 schools that have put up their hands. And like I said, I anticipate that probably after today's announcement, we're going to have a heck of a lot more people putting up their hands. So, à ce moment ici, il y a 25 écoles qui y a participé volontairement. Oui.
We understand that the U.S. liquor, alcohol, shelves right now. Why not just leave it there and direct it like Saskatchewan?
Prime Minister Carney, it was very clear that we were attacked. And I think part of our response that's been very effective has been to take the U.S. booze off the shelf. But so long as the Trump administration is trying to harm our economy, I don't see why a publicly owned liquor mart should give shelf space to American products when we could be using that to highlight great Canadian products instead.
Have you asked the council person how much it's costing to take the booze off, put it back on, take it off, put it on? Or does it matter?
Yeah.
Yes, you've asked, or yes?
Yeah.
The cost of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, the HSC ransomware attack, we haven't been given enough time to try to find out if any staff or personal information was compromised. You can say if
So one of the things that I've learned about ransomware attacks is that there's involvement of insurance companies and there's involvement of consultants who work with the insurance companies. And one of the things that they say is what gets said publicly is very impactful on the overall scenario. So I guess we could follow up maybe offline with some specific details. I know that it's still a live topic. It's still a live situation, but I don't want to say anything publicly that might interfere with how that's playing out.
okay, how about IT badges and like the access to the card from hospital? We actually
Yeah, I think we can get you all those details offline. Like I said, I don't want to say stuff at a press conference that's going to potentially interfere with a very serious cybersecurity situation in our province.
On a different note, Mr. Premier, a question for my colleague. Do you have a reaction at this time from some business owners concerned about Winnipeg Police Service ending special duty at retail outlets? Do you have a reaction to that?
Well, I support law enforcement, and we literally invest a lot of resources at the provincial level into law enforcement, including in the city of Winnipeg. And so, you know, the operational decisions, it's up to Chief Bowers and the other folks that are part of the force, but we're happy to support their efforts. And we know that there's a lot of need out there in the community. Manitobans want to have, police officers in so many different places for that reassurance, for the community impact, and also in case something bad happens, right? So I think this is part of the chief's area of interest, his decision-making jurisdiction, and for us, we support them. They've added dozens of officers since we took office, and we'll continue to invest in keeping communities safe.
And in terms of Canadian and American relations right now, this is for my colleagues in Ottawa. within the last hour, President Trump signed an executive order renaming Lake Ontario to Lake America. What's your reaction to the president signing this executive order?
You know, when like a rock band is really over the hill and you see them like in a casino playing some song from like 50 years ago, I think that's the part of Donald Trump's presidency we're at now. Like he thought he had a real hit, a real golden oldie with the Gulf of Mexico, and he's trying to bring back that. He's trying to play the hits for his base. But I think everybody here thinks it's a little sad and it's not his best work.
On the provincial retail, officers for retail locations, have you seen changes to rules for security guards so that they have more power to intervene in incidents and more training?
Well, we've done a lot to ensure that institutional safety officers and community safety officers in Manitoba are part of our public safety response. And so the CSOs are like who you see on Winnipeg transit buses today. And the ISOs are people that you see in the hospital, helping to keep nurses and physicians safe, helping to keep patients safe. And so that's certainly been an important priority. And I can tell you that, especially in the healthcare setting, talking to nurses and healthcare staff, allied health professionals, they very much appreciate the work that those security officers do. We've brought First Nation safety officers in as well as part of the response to public safety there too, both in terms of our response to evacuations over the past few years, but also at Manitoba Hydro, for instance, when we're talking about downtown safety. So we'll continue to work, and I just appreciate everybody who goes out there to make our community safer. Let's keep working together.
Do you know what things are happening? Is it the government's working on
Yes? Yeah, I'm sure there'll be an update when it's ready. Yeah.
Will this decision by the police change anything at all in terms of how the government funds anti-theft initiatives in retail stores?
The way that we've responded to retail theft has been to have law enforcement with greater resources. And so they were able to provide that direct response in places like Osborne Village, downtown, some of the other hotspots that we were seeing a few years ago. And you saw the crime numbers go down. And so it is clear that law enforcement has a big impact. At the same time, we've also had the DCSP, the street level foot patrols that we've been investing in too. And they bring forward their data that says they're reducing the call volume on law enforcement, but other first responders too. So anytime we're talking about safety, whether it's retail or otherwise, our government, and I think most Manitobans agree, you have to take a comprehensive approach. Law enforcement absolutely has an irreplaceable role, and that work needs to be complemented with other types of response. When we're talking about schools and kids and health too, I'd point out on the more positive side, we had this amazing youth summit that we hosted in Manitoba. And instead of going to young people and saying like, hey kids, shape up or ship out or whatever, we said, hey, help us identify and define what you want your society to look like when you're adults. And then let's work together and reverse engineer that scenario so that we can keep more kids on the positive path. And we don't even have to have the conversation as much about the public safety side of things. And what young people told us would be no surprise. Fun stuff, opportunity, but it was a lot of recreation. It was a lot of recreation. And so it's interesting. Rightfully so, as journalists, like you have to like narrow in and focus on a specific thing. But in government and in people's real lives, it cuts across. And so kind of brings us back to what we're here to talk about today. If we want safer communities, we got to make sure that there's healthier kids. And the more we see increased mental health and physical health and people being constructive, positive members of society, hopefully that means that, there's one of these kids is going to be premier up here in 25 years, and they're not talking about the retail issues that unfortunately we're trying to solve today.
Two hot topics for him. There's the discussion on e-bikes and safety, as well as chatbots and AI and emails. Are there any specifics related to those topics in the curriculum? If so, what are they?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, go for it.
Absolutely, yeah. There's definitely new learning in our curriculum about e-bikes, e-scooters, helmet use, something absent from our curriculum before, and something that came about partially through the work of our Healthy Child Committee of Cabinet, something the previous government got rid of under the leadership of Premier Kinew, and the chair of that committee, Bernadette Smith, our Minister of Housing, Addictions and Homelessness. We identified that is one of the main leading, it is, I believe, the leading cause of accidental death amongst youth in Manitoba. So absolutely really important learning. And as you've heard our Premier talk about for some time now about the harms that our kids here in Manitoba and really across the country are facing because of social media use. So there is abundant learning in our curriculum about digital safety, about responsible online use, and responsible media literacy. Very important learning.
Why don't we go there first, and then we can come back to a question for Roussin.
Yeah, thank you for the question about our another great curriculum renewal that we voluntarily piloted this year, which is the renewal of our science curriculum. So yeah, this is the reason that we roll it out in this iterative process, so we can take the time to learn. So right now we have been working all summer with administrators, with educators, taking in the feedback that we've heard after this first pilot year, and we are going to be absolutely providing additional supports, resources for teachers in the following year to come. I do have some details. I'm not sure if I can share them right now. I don't know if they've been approved by Treasury Board. But we are working very hard with our sector to make sure that teachers have those really important resources that they need to teach this really important curriculum for our kids, to make sure the kids are happy, healthy, safe, and get the best opportunity to an education here in Manitoba that they can.
So our stance still is to try to provide as much information as possible on the benefits of vaccines, to dispel the extreme amount of disinformation that's out there. So right now we don't feel that the mandatory vaccine is going to achieve that purpose. Right, we're here to build trust again. We're here to build connections, and so at that ground level, our public health teams are really working within communities, with individuals, building that trust. And we think that's going to give us a lot more benefit in the long term.
Are there any changes in the curriculum related to vaccinations? I know that this is part of grade 9 science, but
So I think there's a comment on health overall, about the benefits of vaccines, and really learning about how to improve our health, how to protect our health. So I do think there was some information there.